It is now 1 a.m., February 27. It's Pokemon Day. I can't sleep. We got about 8 hours until the presents and until our first look at Pokemon Legends ZA. So, I got a lot of predictions, so let's just jump right into it. All we got last year was a CG trailer showcasing modern day Lumio City in this blueprint-esque art style and a tease at Mega Evolution at the very end. No gameplay footage whatsoever. So, I was gonna say tomorrow, but for today, I definitely think we're gonna get a gameplay reveal for Legends ZA and a pretty in-depth one at that. Now, we're definitely gonna see Lumio City in this gameplay reveal, and we're gonna know off rip whether or not this game takes place in the past or in the modern day or maybe even the future. I'm gonna guess that this game takes place in the past, just because of how the first trailer showed a bunch of concept footage of Lumio City with Pokemon integrated into the area already. Pokemon Legends Arceus really focused on helping the people of Jubilife Village overcome their fears of Pokemon. And by the end of the game, you got NPCs, walking with Pokemon. You got them working at the farm or chilling at the daycare and stuff. And, that to me is what the Legends series is all about. It's about, characters and the Pokemon world. They're not completely used to Pokemon, and you as the player are getting them used to the idea of Pokemon being integrated with the environment. That to me is what the Legends series is all about, and I think ZA is going to carry that tradition forward. Now, that's not to say we won't see that modern day Lumio City. The blueprint trailer we got last year did show characters walking around, a Gyarados floating in the water, a very intricate city. So I think we will get to that point, but probably by the end of the game. I think the gameplay loop is going to be about redeveloping Lumio City by capturing the different Pokemon that are roaming throughout the different areas of the city and taming them and using them to build up buildings, clean out debris, clean out the sewers, create berry farms, make the parks cleaner. I think that's what they're going to be going for. I honestly think that we're going to be redeveloping the city from the ground up. I know what I said, it kind of sounds like Power World, but I was actually thinking of one of the mechanics in Legends Arceus. So in Legends Arceus, there's a farm in the hub world where you can place multiple Pokemon there to work the fields so you can harvest berries and stuff. I think that was a really good idea at the time, and they can definitely expand on that. I'm not the biggest fan of Power World, because of the whole plagiarism allegations, AI, all that stuff. But from what I played, the base building stuff was pretty awesome, and I would not be opposed to Pokemon having something like that. And like I said, they kind of already touched on it a little bit with Pokemon Legends Arceus, so I can definitely see them building on it further. Another prediction I have is that little mechanic that they had in the DLC for Scarlet and Violet, where you can kind of control your own Pokemon in the terrarium, where you can just send them out and you can literally take control of Blastoise and walk around and be a Blastoise or a Charizard or whatever. That to me feels like they're prototyping something there. It's kind of like the wild area, how that was pretty much a prototype for the open world stuff in Scarlet and Violet. I can see them maybe doing the same thing with this, where Scarlet and Violet, that was just them prototyping you being able to control the Pokemon and move around with them. And then in Legends ZA, now you can control the Pokemon, you can send the Pokemon out, control them, and then use them. You can actually just be a Pokemon and just, build the buildings up yourself, redevelop the city yourself, or just roam around. And I think that's going to be one of the big features. They might not show it if it's a thing. I don't even know if it's a thing, but if it is a thing, they might not show it today. They might wait until later, but just keep your eyes on that. I feel like that's going to be a thing. And lastly, I think the catching mechanics from Legends Arceus, they're going to show that and it's going to look awesome. In Scarlet and Violet, I loved it, but I really missed being able to just throw as many Pokeballs as you want and just, you can catch 5 Pokemon at the same time. You can throw one, run away, get in the battle with another one, and that one might come and join you in the battle and fight against you. Legends Arceus was so dynamic, and I feel like Scarlet and Violet, while I really loved that game, it was missing a bit of that. And seeing the return of those catching mechanics is going to be cool. Yeah, and I think they'll highlight the return of those catching mechanics with maybe some new upgrades or quality of life improvements. So that should be fun. Now, in terms of the Pokemon themselves, with the starter Pokemon, I'm predicting Torchic as the fire starter, Snivy as the grass starter, and Piplup as the water starter. And there's a reason why I predict that. And I've seen other people say this too, so I'm not breaking new ground on this at all. Basically, in the second Scarlet and Violet DLC trailer released in August 2023, where they highlight the terrarium and the being able to catch starters in the terrarium, the trailer opens up with Cyndaquil, Oshawott, and Rowlet. And those are the very same starters from Legends Arceus. What a coincidence, funny enough. And the three of them are paired with only one other starter, which may very well be their counterparts in Legends ZA. Now, like I said, I'm not breaking any new ground on here. A lot of the community did point this out at the time in 2023. Like, hey, are they teasing at the next Legends game? Like, these are the Legends starters, and they all have, a Pokemon they're paired with. Could the new ones be the next Legend starters? And when I was rewatching the trailer for this prediction video, I noticed something pretty interesting. I might be reaching, but basically, and I don't know if anybody else pointed this out, but again, you see the Legends Arceus starters paired up with Torchic, Piplup, and Snivy. And what's the next shot? It's Froakie, the Gen 6 starter, the Kalos starter by himself. I feel like that was Game Freak hinting at the next Legend starters. And then with Froakie being the next shot, it's like, oh, the next Legends game is a Legends game that takes place in Kalos and Lumio City because we're showing you a Gen 6 starter. Maybe I'm reaching, but seeing the Legends Arceus starters in that sequence is already a coincidence. But then you see Froakie next, and we know in hindsight that we're getting a game in Kalos. So I don't know, but I'm pretty confident those are the starters. Now let's talk graphics. I think this game is going to surprise a lot of people. I think it's going to look good, like really good. Like, this is Game Freak's, I think, 5th game in the HD era. The transition to 3D was a bit tricky at first, and then we came into HD, and I think the transition to HD was pretty good with the Let's Go games. Those games still look fantastic. But then you started getting a little bit iffy with Sword and Shield, and I think Legends Arceus looks fine. There's a couple areas where it could have been cleaned up, and then Scarlet and Violet, the base game was a bit off, but the DLC in that game looks really good. So I don't know. It's tricky. It's really tricky. Now, in terms of release date, I'm gonna say somewhere between September and November. I initially thought the game would have released in June, but I don't know. It looks like the Switch 2 is going to come out in June with maybe Mario Kart 10 or Mario Kart 9 or whatever. I don't think they're going to release Pokemon on the same month that the Switch 2 releases, if the Switch 2 releases in June. So to me, it seems like September to November, that could be the range. And Pokemon has traditionally always been a holiday October/November title. So I don't think this is going to be any different. But at the same time, Legends Arceus did a release in January 2022. So there is precedent if they don't want to release it in November and if they want to release it earlier in the year. So yeah, but I think I'm gonna guess, I'm gonna put my hat into the ring. I think September to November, most likely November though. So yeah, those are my predictions. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. It's my first YouTube video, so hopefully the first of many. Love Pokemon, love Nintendo, so I look forward to covering what they do. And yeah, probably after the presents, I'll do a video analyzing whatever they put out, the trailer or whatever, going in depth with that. So yeah, should be fun. Anyway, all right, peace.